Welcome to the thinkorswim mobile overview tutorial for iPhone users. You'll learn how to navigate and customize the app, place trades, and more. Let's jump in. To log in, use your Charles Schwab credentials. The first time you log in, you'll need to adjust some settings. For additional security on some devices, you can enable biometrics to log in with Face ID or your fingerprint. It's important to enable push notifications so you can receive vital messages like order fills and alerts. It'll also let you approve login requests for two-factor authentication. We can also set up dark or light mode. This can be changed at any time under the More tab. If you run into any trouble, there's in-app help, which we'll go further into later. The app opens on the Overview page, which provides a quick glance at live data, account details, and more information. The Markets section shows you what the major markets are doing with real-time and streaming quotes. Next, My Position Movers shows which of your investments are moving the most that day. Moving down, you'll find Balances, Orders, Watch Lists, Trader TV, and Calendar. You can customize the Overview page by tapping the gear icon at the top. Next, tap the red buttons to remove a section, or tap the green buttons to add one. You can also further customize individual items by tapping the gear icon. I'll tap Done to exit this screen. If you have more than one account with Schwab, you can see them all by tapping All Accounts. This is also where you access your paper money account to practice trading strategies without risking real money. You can navigate to other tools using the App menu at the bottom of the screen. By default, there is Watch List, Trade, Positions, and more. You can customize the app menu to include the tools you use by long pressing an item in the menu. Let's say we want to create a watch list, which is a list of investments you want to keep an eye on. The mobile app syncs with your other thinkorswim platforms, so that any watch list you create on one platform will be visible on the others. To create a new watch list, tap the name of the watch list in the upper left side of the app. Next, tap Create New Watch List. I'm going to name this Demo and then tap Next. Now, search for stock symbols to add. I'll tap the pen in the upper right side of the app. I'm going to start with Amazon by typing AMZN in the search box. I'll add it to the watch list by tapping the green circle next to the symbol. Next, I'm going to add Apple, AAPL. If you don't know the symbol, just start typing in the name and it'll appear in the box. I'm going to finish off this watch list with Microsoft, MSFT. I'll tap Done. Here's your new watch list. To sort the watch list, just tap the title of any column. For example, if I tap Last, it puts the lowest price stocks on the top. If I tap it again, the highest price stocks are on the top. You can also change the watch list view by tapping the list icon at the top. Each view focuses on different information, including column, grid, list, and heat map. I'll click List, and then scroll to the right where you can find information like the company's beta, dividend yield, and PE ratio. Let's go back to the column layout so I can show you how to customize it. I'll start by tapping the gear icon, where I can remove and add a variety of features. I'm going to remove the strength meter and then add the PE ratio from the Stock Fundamentals section. I'll tap Done. Now, let's say I want to research a stock and place a trade. If the stock is in a watch list, simply tap the symbol. You can also search for a stock by tapping the magnifying glass at the top. Let's use Tesla as an example. I'll type TSLA into the search field. This is the quote detail page. You can trade from this page, plus it includes other tabs. You can find level 2 quotes here as well. This shows the order book for the stock, including bid and ask prices. There are more tabs. Let's start with Chart. To change chart styles, I'll tap the candlestick icon and then tap the gear icon. I can switch the style from candle to line, area, or any of these options. I can change the chart time frame or add technical indicators or compare the stock with another stock, like a competitor or against an index. When I'm finished, I'll tap Done. I'll give this new chart style a name so I can use it elsewhere in the platform. Let's call this Demo. I'll tap Done again. Now let's look at alerts. Let's say I want to be notified if Tesla climbs back to $450. First, I'll tap the alert icon. Then I'll set the trigger at greater than or equal to, and type 450 as the threshold. Finally, I'll tap Create Alert. Now, if Tesla hits $450 or higher, I'll get a notification. We've touched on some technical analysis tools, but what about fundamental analysis? I'll start by selecting Research. Then I'll tap Profile. Here's a breakdown of the value of the company by percentage of the market cap. Below that is the Company Overview, which describes the company and its overall financial picture. Okay, let's say I've decided to buy this stock. Remember, this is a demo, not a recommendation of any security. And at the top of the page, I'll tap Buy. In the Order Editor, I can specify the order. For example, I can change from buying or selling. I can also change my order type. Let's keep it as a limit. You can change the price at which you want your limit to fill. Next, I'll leave the quantity to 1. And I'll keep the time in force as day. I'll tap Review. And after reviewing the order, tap Send. So let's go back to the chart, which shows the order as well as the alert. Also, back on the Overview page, if I go back to Orders, I can see my open order under Working Orders. It also includes filled and canceled orders. Now, let's see how to place an options order. I'll go to the new watch list I created and select Microsoft. Once again, this is only an example and not a recommendation. On the quote page, select Options. Here's the option chain for MSFT. Below are the expirations. For this example, I'll tap on 20 March 26 options. Calls are on the left and puts are on the right. I'll change the number of strikes to 8. I can also change the tables to reflect a certain strategy by selecting the Spread box and tapping the strategy I want. For example, I'll select Vertical. Now, when I look at the options chain, I see that I have 2 strikes together, which are potential vertical spreads. Today I'm just going to trade just a single contract, so I'm going to switch the chains back to single. I'll load up an order to buy the 387.5 call by tapping the ask price. The order editor looks pretty similar to the stock trade. I'll keep the number of contracts to 1. Then I'll tap Review and then Send. Now let's look at our positions. Like the watch list section, I can sort my positions by tapping the columns. I'll sort the P&L column to see the winners and losers. Let's look at an example of how to close a position. I'll tap the symbol for IBM and then Close Selected. Let's make this a stop order at $227.27. If the stock falls to this price, it'll trigger a market order to sell at the next available price, though that may still be lower than the stop price. Alright, I've covered quite a bit so far, but there are several more features under the More tab. Let's touch on one more. This is the Help tab, where you can find a few choices for getting assistance. One of the most useful is Chat, where I can message with a live associate. So you can see that the thinkorswim mobile app is a robust tool that's designed for active traders. Download the app and start exploring all its features and tools. And then check out our other videos for more thinkorswim tutorials.